What's really good, my people? Welcome into No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. I am your host, Sean Little. Big Nick the Quick with me, live from Chicago, Illinois. Man, I got one more day at the crib before I head back to New York City Wednesday game. What is it? It's going to be game 5 at the Garden, Knicks Heat. I'm going to cover that, so I'll be out of here to go hang out over there. We got a lot of NBA playoffs to talk about. Two squads in the Miami Heat and the Los Angeles Lakers up 3-1. And then tonight we got to break down the two massive game 5s back in Denver for Suns Nuggets. And then, of course, Philly is back in Boston for game 5. We'll see how that shakes up. We're breaking it all down. No catch up, all NBA edition. Lock in with us.
Now look at Mossy. Really? Oh, so that's how you're going to play it. You going to do this? Okay, fine. That's all I needed. That's all I needed for him to do that. And it became personal with me.
Nick the Quick, what's happening?
How we feeling?
Man, you already know. You know the vibe, man.
What a night of hoops.
Great night of hoops. I've been loving this morning watch I've been doing. I don't know if you haven't heard what I've been doing. I'm gonna say it for the 100th time now. I've been skipping the late game and watching it in the morning with the fresh cup of coffee. Absolutely fantastic. I don't have to worry about tweeting. I get to watch and read notes and go about it that way. It's been a lot of fun. But I actually did watch the Lakers last night. I just couldn't take my eyes off that one.
I was about to say, text me about that one last night.
Yeah. We were going back and forth on that one. But overall, the late and I am in Chicago. I'm not on the East Coast. East Coast, it gets a little spookier for sure.
That extra hour is crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's just very real. That extra hour is real. It really is. So let's jump right into it. Big Nick the Quick. What you want to do? Let's recap the 3-1 series leads now for the Miami Heat and the Los Angeles Lakers. Where do you want to start? You want to start in LA or you want to start in Miami?
No, let's go in the order it happened. So let's start in Miami.
Let's start in Miami.
Yeah.
Knicks
the South Beach Bullies.
South Beach Bullies is real. Knicks go down 3-1. They got a real uphill battle. I tweeted out during that game. Vast majority of the game was played in the single digits. I never at any point thought the Knicks were going to come back in that game. It felt like they were down 20 points a majority of the game. Shout out IQ for 3 on Twitter. He laid this out. Listen to this stretch for the Knicks to end the third quarter. 6:52 left. Knicks cut the lead to 2 points in the third quarter. Next possession, Heat hit a 3 to take it to 5. 5:57 left in the third. Knicks cut the lead to 3 points again, come down, give up a 3 to the Heat, 6-point lead. 3:09 in the third quarter. Knicks cut the lead to 5. Heat come down, hit a 3, take it to 8. 1:57 left in the third quarter. Knicks cut the lead to 4. Heat come down and hit a 3. That was basically what happened all night long. The Knicks perimeter defense was absolutely not around. Their perimeter defense has been poor. We'll say that. Miami Heat has made every extra pass and found every extra body in every spot to get a good look, and they've knocked down big shots. We've talked about it over and over in this series. They have been bullying the New York Knicks. I'm not shocked that it's going back 3-1 to New York. The effort hasn't been there, to be completely honest. There was a couple in between spots where the effort was shaky, and there's no runway for that in the playoffs. It didn't feel like a must-win game, but
yeah, it was.
It's got to be a must-compete.
That was to me. It felt like a must-win game. I don't think you want to go down 3-1. I think you talked about it, during the beginning of the playoffs and before the playoffs began. The Knicks are 100% a team that plays off emotion. So there's a chance they go game 5 back in the Garden. The Garden's going to be fired up. They could ride that to a win, but you never want to have a team out compete you in the playoffs, and you definitely don't ever want that team to be the Miami Heat. So I think you're seeing a couple things. Number one, they're getting all the loose balls. They're killing them on the offensive glass. They're forcing them to do a lot of bad turnovers. But I think the number one thing that Miami's been doing for all 4 games is they're literally getting every single shot that they want, to the point where they're making extra passes in situations where you're like, man, why don't you just put that up? I think Kevin Love had one last night where he had a clear lane to the basket.
It's almost too much of a pass.
It was almost too much. And he's just like, you know what? I'm still going to give this up. And they end up getting the three. But it's like Miami is just so committed to just getting that open look, finding the most open shot that they can get, and not doing anything crazy, right? Like I think you could have seen a scenario in that game where maybe Miami would try to put their foot on the gas a little bit more, try to take that to like a 10, 15-point game. But instead, they just kept executing, doing exactly what they wanted to do, kept them kind of at arm's length, but never got uncomfortable, right? Like, so even with your tweet yesterday, it did feel like they were up 20 for the entire game, but in reality, they were up between 6 and 10. But it never got to that point. Even when it got down to 3 or got a little bit closer, you never felt like Miami was going to do anything to blow this game because they weren't playing out of control. They weren't turning the ball over. And again, they were so committed to finding that open shot. They knew if we make one more pass, if we make that third pass, sometimes that fourth pass, it's going to go to somebody open. And if these guys like Strus or whoever it is are hitting open shots, it's over with, right? So if you got Strus, I don't know what he had, 4 or 5 threes last night, like that's huge for them. And obviously Jimmy's going to deliver when he needs to, but they're disciplined. They're not going to make any mistakes. They're going to compete on defense. And if you don't bring the effort, and I know Randall said it after the game, like maybe they want it more than us. Like that's what I saw. That's what I've been seeing. And again, Miami showed you last series, man. Don't mess around with these guys. This is not the type of team that you take lightly and think you're just going to beat. And we can talk about the Randall stuff too. We can get into that.
Yeah, what gives?
Overall,
I mean, talk to me about what gives, because I can't go too crazy on the Knicks.
I gotta give the Knicks perspective here.
Yeah, I think overall, listen, last game, Jalen Brunson just gives you everything. 32, 11 dimes. This is 10 of 21 from the floor. He didn't shoot it well from 3. He hasn't shot it well from 3 this series, but he has to handle the rock on every single possession. He's not getting any support from his running man, Julius Randle. RJ Barrett bounced back after a lackluster game in game 3. He shows up and gives you 24 on 9 of 16. I'm gonna tell you this right now.
He's been playing well.
RJ Barrett is gonna give you 24, 4 and 3 on better than 50% from the floor and 4 or 5 free throws, that's as much as you can ask from RJ Barrett.
Well, also, and I think I texted this last night, if the Knicks between Barrett, Randall, and Brunson are going to score 76 and shoot 50% from the field, they should win that game, right? So it really did come down to a lot of those extra hustle plays, again, getting killed on the glass and turn it over. Julius Randle had 6 turnovers. He's, you know what, watching him, like some guys are like trick or treat from game to game. He is like one of the most play-to-play guys in the NBA. Like Julius Randle, there was some points, I think in the second quarter, where the Knicks absolutely needed buckets, and Julius Randle backed him down twice and got those buckets, right? But then you'll watch him on the next couple plays, and he'll do 3 things stupid. He'll commit a dumb foul. He'll turn the ball over. He'll take a shot you don't need to take. He'll try to play some hero ball and completely go outside of the offense or what it is that they're trying to do.
And then it kind of pulls his mental out of the game as well.
Absolutely. And you see it on him too. He's a body language guy. Like he's a guy that kind of wears on his sleeve for sure. And so you can kind of see him melting down during the game. And Tibbs is going to pull you out for that. And I know he fouled out last night, but he was hurting them defensively and he was hurting them with the turnovers. And that's the shit that Miami's going to pounce on every single time. To me, this series is over. If we're being completely honest here, I think it was over at 2-1, but this series is over. But if you're the Knicks, you really got to look at the fact that now that you have Brunson, right, and you're not as reliant on Randall to kind of give you those 25 to 30 points, like you might need to look at kind of definitely shaking some things up with this roster if you're the Knicks, because I don't know if it's going to work with these guys. I think with Tibbs coaching, you can win 45 games because you're just going to be more prepared than most teams on any given night. But I think when the going gets tough here with this squad, like you really see a lot of those warts with Randall. And I think these playoffs have been alarming.
Yeah, well, let's talk about it because he was sensational throughout the year. He had a great regular season, but since the playoffs have started, he's been very poor. He shot 34% against the Cleveland Cavaliers. He put up 19 points, 22 points, 11, 7, and 13.
Been benched a couple times in the playoffs here.
So that's never going to be good. He shot 24% from 3 in the Cavaliers game. He's shooting 22% from 3 in this matchup against the Heat. A little better from the floor. But overall, it's more the body language, that type of stuff that seems to be weighing a little bit on the Knicks. Similar to Bulls fans. And this is how we get down, just like the Knicks get down. We talk about this all the time. We don't even care. Bulls, Knicks fans, I believe. You can't not have top effort in a playoff game on the road down 2-1.
For sure.
We absolutely cannot be talking about effort plays. And that's been a question here coming in or coming out of game 4, right? Now we're going back to New York. I'm worried about the crowd, how they're going to be, because I think they're going to be a little reluctant to be super gassed up because they're going to feel like, series is over. These boys don't even want to play. Julius seems to be an issue. Let me ask you this, Nick, because I had a couple conversations about this. Who says anything to Julius Randle, if anyone? Is Tibbs the only one that could say anything? And it doesn't seem like Tibbs has said anything. We saw that clip floating around the internet. Reggie Bullock, ex-Nick, says, look, Tibbs wants you to play D, and if you're not going to play D, you're not playing. And then he quotes it and says, well, unless you're Julius Randle.
Yeah.
Well, to the point where it's like Julius is working on a different plane than everyone else. Is there someone in the locker room? Should Brunson be speaking up? Who has the cachet to pull up on Drew and be like, hey, man, the body language, that type of stuff? Because, listen, it's not difficult for Julius to come out. Yeah, but maybe that's not maybe that's not.
But that's not. But I think D Rose has become more of a vocal guy. I think it's tough when you're not playing at all. And I don't think Tibbs has never struck me as a pull a guy aside type of coach. Like he just doesn't. I don't know if he like on a personal level gets with his guys like that. And furthermore, we've seen Tibbs. I think Tibbs fully believes in the philosophy of I need one guy to score the ball. And everybody else does everything. We saw he was giving Nate Robinson big minutes.
He said he would take a whole squad of Josh Harts and one bucket. Huh?
For sure. Give me one guy who can score that guy. Yeah. Look at how the Knicks have played before Brunson got here. Literally, Randall, do everything. Hey, you want the ball? Fine. Be the fucking point guard. I don't care. If you want to be a 6'9" bowling ball of a point guard, that's fine. Just produce me 50 points some way through assists and scoring and all that, and I will literally figure out the rest. So I don't think Tibbs is going to say after empowering him like this to be like, hey, man, like, figure it out. But at the same time, someone needs to because his body language is bad for the team. And he is a leader on this squad. But I still think regardless, this season is dust. Like you've ran into a team now. The worst thing you can have, we saw in the bubble, we saw it last year, is Miami when they have momentum is just not a team you want to deal with in the playoffs. Like we're on the cusp of right now, Jimmy Butler making the Eastern Conference Finals 3 out of the last 4 seasons.
Yeah, I mean yeah.
Yes. I mean, if we really want to talk about it, right? Yes, we're on the cusp of Jimmy Butler making the Eastern Conference Finals with subpar teams.
Yes.
Right, Jimmy and whoever, and these guys are okay. Right now, it really is, to me, it feels like Jimmy and whoever, because you got no hero, and it's just whoever can help me on any given night. I mean, you're playing Caleb Martin like 35 minutes a night. You're relying on Gabe Vincent to be massive in spots. Max Strus needs to be Ray Allen in certain situations for this team. So you're looking at Butler getting to the Eastern Conference three out of the last 4 years. This is a real thing. Like, you don't want to give this team momentum. They're too well coached. They don't make mistakes. They're all about execution. They don't care about doing it pretty. Last night was the most Miami game I've ever seen because, again, it was no big lead. It was we're going to keep you in that 8-point range where we feel comfortable. That sequence you just read 100% sums up the game. They're going to do something. Well, guess what? They get 2, we get 3. And if we keep doing that, that math is going to work out for us, right? And then we get some stops late in the game, and we rely on them to shoot themselves in the foot. And that's exactly what happened. So I think that if I'm the Knicks, like as crazy as it sounds, you need to be thinking into what do we do to fix this? Let's not waste this Brunson thing. Let's not waste some of these young guys that we got. But we need to figure this out. I really do think this series is over. I think it was over at 2-1. That's why this game last night was absolutely massive. You need to steal one from them in Miami.
I just shot the Action Network pod, and Matt Moore laid it out and said the jig is up. New York Knicks are looking at these dudes like we can't beat these guys. Nope. And that's how they feel. And that is one of those feelings where, and we'll get into the Lakers because I kind of feel like that's what LeBron is looking at Golden State like these guys can't beat us.
I actually disagree wholeheartedly, but we'll talk.
Okay, I'm interested to hear it. But the jig is up where Miami is like, these dudes don't got it. Whatever it is, we lean on these dudes enough. We can beat these guys. If that's in 5, if that's in 6, if that's having to go back to the Garden in 7, which would be very interesting. But
they don't want to do that, though. I think Miami's getting to the conference finals in 10 games.
It's possible. Yeah. I mean, and it looks like that Philly-Boston series is definitely going to go 6 because it's 2-2.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
It could easily go 7, right? So
absolutely,
they're going to try to get that rest. They might be able to close them out. Before we get let's get over to the
wait. I wanted to put this to you real quick because I know I put it in the group text yesterday. And I said if he leads them to a title, is he a Hall of Famer? I think that's for sure.
Yeah,
but how do we properly frame the Jimmy Butler now that we do look at the fact that in all likelihood he's going to make his 30th Eastern Conference Finals appearance in 4 years?
Yeah.
Right. In this little Heat run right here, he's obviously in the playoffs where we can't shit on guys who don't perform in the playoffs and then not give full bouquets of roses to guys who do. And all he's shown since he's put on the red and black is that he's a playoff performer.
Now his whole career,
but I mean, really, this Miami
Philly,
run is all deep playoff runs.
But
Philly picked Tobias Harris over him.
If that Kawhi jumper doesn't fall, they probably win the title over there.
Yeah, for sure.
So I mean, yes. Yeah.
Is Jimmy Butler? Let's say they get to the Eastern Conference Finals this year. Is Jimmy Butler a Hall of Famer in your book?
Oh, you don't want to know my book?
I know in your book. In your book, yeah. And if Sean has a vote,
hey, I'm gonna tell you this.
Let's say this MSG thing gets to like the highest of heights, and you get a Hall of Fame vote, and Jimmy Butler, not James, it's up. What are you talking about?
Hey man, people don't want to see my Hall of Fame. My Hall of Fame is all over the place because I'm taking all types of factors into consideration. But if he wins a title,
well, that's a for sure.
Oh, that's a for sure, right? I mean,
it might be the greatest story in NBA history if Jimmy Butler wins a title. I'm not even kidding.
No,
you saw the beginning of this,
with that squad, bro, straight up.
It's the most Tibbs story of all time that a guy like Jimmy Butler becomes a suit because he's only getting those minutes under Tibbs.
Yeah, no doubt. So. My response in the group chat right away was, I mean, in the streets, he's already a Hall of Famer.
The Minnesota practice solidified.
and that might be more important. When we talk about a lot of this stuff, I think the public perception in the streets is just as important as what happened, to be honest.
Sure, absolutely.
For example, every time Steve Nash's back-to-back MVPs come up, the very next comment is,
Kobe.
well, he only really got one. Kobe should have got that.
Kobe got the other one.
So it's almost like Steve has one.
He has one.
So you can take Reggie Bush's Heisman away. Everybody that was in the streets and was watching that, he's the Heisman.
I saw Reggie Bush with my own eyes in college. Yes. Reggie Bush was the Heisman.
He's the Heisman, right? So, take the trophy if you want.
Right.
Do whatever you want. I think it's one of those type things.
For sure.
When Jimmy packs it up, put him in the Hall of Fame or not, when people talk about him and his game and what he did, Hall of Famer in the streets.
We talk about performers, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe Jimmy would want that. I guess it's one of those things where years down the road when, our generation is long gone and people don't remember Jimmy, that's one of those things where he's in the Hall of Fame. So people could reference that type of thing. For example, I was talking about Albert Bell the other day. Fucking a monster.
Yeah.
Go back and look at Albert Bell's numbers through. I sent the homie Albert Bell stats, his career stats when he was on Cleveland, when he was absolutely cooking 5 or 6 straight All-Star games, and he called him the human steroid. So
wasn't Albert Bell a mean dude too? He was known as just a very nice, not a nice man, right?
So one of those things, man,
in the streets, Hall of Famer.
Dude, in the streets, easily a Hall of Famer. Yeah. He's going to walk around and get love everywhere he goes. Everyone's going to love Jimmy Butler purely off the fact that he shows up in big spots, plays top ball, everyone around him. What do we talk about with superstars, Nick? What's the little cheeky? Do you make guys better?
Makes everybody better.
This fucking guy.
There's a long line of guys that are better.
Dude, puts people on a whole another stratosphere. So,
and you talk about a perfect pairing in free agency. We might look back in the history of this league there may not have ever been a better pairing in free agency between Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat, right? Like, I think it gave Jimmy the glitz and glamour that he needed as Miami, but we know, again, Heat culture, it gets beat to a pulp, but like, it's real. Like, putting in the work, you know what I mean? The conditioning, like all that. Like, Jimmy's about all that, the structure, the accountability. Like, he wants all that. He craves all that. And it's a perfect situation for him. Get him some help this summer. Dame, get to South Beach. Wife, the kids, they'll love it. No state
income tax. Go look at Jimmy's socials, man. He just takes care of his body. Yo,
yesterday he was kicking it big time before the game with his guys.
All he does is take care of his body, drink coffee, and play cards.
Yeah,
and then go play ball.
Yeah,
that's it. That's all Jimmy Butler
live in South Beach, be the man. It's great.
Yeah,
that's wonderful.
Absolutely,
Hall of Fame life.
Hall of Famer for me. So shout out Jimmy.
Shout out Jimmy Butler. Question. We're big time Jimmy Butler. We gotta get Jimmy on the pod.
This is Jimmy Butler, right? That bobblehead right there is Jimmy, man.
Yeah.
Shout out Jimmy B,
Jimmy
man.
Butler,
in a Bulls jersey, though. In a Bullies jersey, man.
Yeah.
So, shout out Jimmy Butler. Let's go to San Francisco, California. 2-2. Absolutely capitulation down the stretch from the Warriors. Nick, let me
3-1, not 2.
3-1. Yeah, my fault. 3-1 going back to San Francisco. I've been using this phrase a lot going through some of this playoff stuff where, like, I just don't think teams have enough. I still don't think Phoenix has enough. We talked about this last week. I'm glad Landry Shamet and Terrence Ross finally got some minutes. We've been saying that on the No Catch Up podcast.
T-Ross been a bucket, yeah.
We're talking. You out here running.
You need buckets,
dude. You running out Damian Lee and Ish Wainwright, and I'm like, hey man, Shamet can play. There's no way this guy should be getting DMPs.
Yeah, for sure.
Cut it out. So glad to see him come in. He may bring the offense that they need without Chris Paul. There's been talk about maybe in this series potentially without Chris Paul slowing the game down. That's how they can win, getting out and running the break. Campaign has been facilitating a little bit on the break. Has looked all right.
Sucks.
So overall, they're playing at a faster pace.
He is scary. He is a really scary player to watch. You don't know what's going to happen.
They've been playing at a faster pace. They've been getting stuff done. I've been saying this a lot, like I just mentioned. I don't know if they have enough. I don't know if Golden State offensively has enough.
On my mama stuff, by the way.
What's that again?
You didn't see the campaign on my mama?
No, man.
When he was talking to the rap about the call.
No.
I want to say it was your boy Black Trey that tweeted it out. Maybe it was. It was one of those NBA Twitter guys. Campaign was arguing about a call, like they didn't commit a foul, and goes to the ref. On my mama. Like, I was on my mama. That was a foul. Someone's tweeted out like every NBA player should get at least one on my mama moment per game or something like that. It was funny, but
like a freebie.
Yeah. Like on my mama, I'm not lying. Like,
so we've seen Steve Kerr make two big adjustments. He started. I just blanked on his name. D'Anthony. Who am I talking about? Who do you start for Looney?
Yeah,
how did I just blank like that?
I'm blanking too.
Jermichael Green.
Jermichael Green.
He started Jermichael Green, and
which
then
he did the first game because he was sick, right? Looney was sick. Put in Jermichael Green, and Jermichael Green, allegedly, and Jermichael Green went off for like 16.
Yeah, he had like 3 or 4 threes.
Jermichael Green has always been one of those guys, though. Like he pops up every once in a while and like does. He can knock down shots. Yeah, he can score. Yeah, for sure.
So Jermichael Green was the first big adjustment. Then he starts Gary Payton the second.
Yeah.
They split. They win one when they start Jermichael Green. Then they start Gary Payton the second. They lose.
Yep.
When you're out there with Jermichael or Gary Payton Jr. starting, is it just asking too much of an older Klay Thompson, Steph, and Wiggins, who we know offensively is passive? We know Draymond's not looking to score.
Yeah.
So if you run those 5 guys out there, who's getting the baskets? Is Steve Kerr asking too much from, I guess, Steph and Klay to get it done? Or is that the team that's constructed? That's how we got to rock.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at. And then please enlighten me on why you think that Golden State can come back? Because I'm going to lay out why I think the Lakers have this slowed up.
No, it had nothing to do with what Golden State come back. You said that LeBron is saying they have no chance. I think LeBron's probably saying the opposite because I think that LeBron understands the team that he's going against, and these are the guys who we've talked about. This is the team that ruined LeBron's dominance of the league, right? LeBron should have 7 titles if it wasn't for the Golden State Warriors, 8 titles if it wasn't for the Golden State Warriors. So I think, like, if you listen to Get Up this morning, Greedy has suggested Lakers shouldn't even play AD and LeBron in Game 5. And my point is, you don't want to give these guys any momentum. You don't want to fuck around with these guys. Remember Doc Rivers said in the first round series against the Hawks, you don't want to play, or against with Brooklyn, you don't want to play with your food. Like, you don't want to play with these guys, man. This is not the type of team that you give any momentum to. If I'm LeBron, I'm actually saying, hey, let's go try to win Game 5. Like, fuck all that. Let's just try to win the Game 5. Let's try to kill them in their arena. Let's not give them any type of momentum. Let's not give them any type of belief that they might be able to come back. Like, let's kick them while they're down, right? Let's hope that we can get back in there and let's do our thing. Like, let's leave it all out there. Like, I'm not trying to rest. If you want to play me 45 minutes, fine. The next series is not guaranteed. Like, to me, this is the complete opposite of the Miami situation, just in the fact that this is still the Golden State Warriors. This is still a team that's won 4 titles, been to 6 NBA finals over the last 9 years. Like, you still have the quote unquote heart of a champion out there. So for me, as far as the Steve Kerr, so I just want to get that out there. I don't think LeBron's feeling that way. I think LeBron understands who he's going up against and doesn't want to find
that spot. I feel the other way. I feel like just from how he's playing as well. First of all, LeBron James is tired.
For sure.
He looked extremely tired in the first half, in the first 3 quarters of that game yesterday. Especially the first I would say 30 minutes. He looked tired.
But right after you texted me that, he fucking completely turned it
right
around.
Right after I texted you that, he picked it up.
Yeah.
He looked really tired early. I think this is deja vu for me to Memphis. I think Golden State goes back to San Francisco. It's a big win, double-digit win, and early. It's early and often, and the Lakers pack it up like they've been packing it up all year. When they go down, they get some rest, and then go take care of business.
Darvin Ham is a master of the early pack up. Like, this
knows
done. He knows this is done.
It's done.
I got a hold of the roster.
Yeah, no
these
need
guys
to
get hurt. I'm not.
We're not getting this
I'm
game.
not going. Yeah.
Listen, this is deja vu for me, man. Game 1, they went to Memphis, got the W. They got smoked in Game 2. Game 3 in LA, they got the W. They got the W in Game 5. Game 6, they went back to Memphis and got smoked.
Yeah.
Took care of business in Game 6. This is exactly what I think is going to happen. Hey, in Game 6, they won by 40 against Memphis. I'm not saying they're going to beat Golden State by 40 in Game 6, but I believe they're going to take care of business and win the series. I love Golden State in this spot going back home. Lions -6.5, -7. I think they show up in a major way. Jordan Poole, I'm going to tell you this right now, is going to score 12, 13, 14 points in that game. If he gets the minutes, he might not get the minutes. Yeah, Steve Kerr kind of pulled the plug on folks last game. Like, he had 11 points. Like, yeah, no. But I could actually see this game playing out in San Francisco. Jordan Poole running around, doing all this goofy shit. He's got 3 threes in the first half, yada, yada, yada. Anthony Davis isn't as engaged as usual. Because I'm going to tell you this. Multiple games now, it looked like the Lakers were running out of gas. We talked about it in Game 1. They ran out of gas, and D'Lo hit a jumper the layup at the end to win the game. They were out of gas last night, and Lonnie Walker IV showed up and knocked down jumper after jumper after jumper to win them the game.
Lonnie Walker IV last night looked like Kawhi.
No,
it actually looked like Kawhi Leonard, his mastery of the mid-range last night. Like, he came in 100%, gave him a shot in the arm. No, I agree. I look, from a gambling perspective, from a whatever I'm expecting perspective, I think the Warriors absolutely throttle them in Game 5. But my point being, if you're LeBron, I don't think he should be looking at Game 5 as like there's no way we win this game, right? Like, I still think the approach should be we want to win Game 5. So that was my whole thing.
But I think it's one of those things, like you said, where LeBron comes out and tries to get. Remember in Game 2 in Memphis, he came out, scored like 15 points in the first quarter.
Yeah.
And then they were down 17. It was like, all right, let's get out of here. He scored like 20. He scored like 21 points.
Yeah.
In the game.
Yeah.
So
they're gonna feel it out. They'll feel it out. They'll go in there. You feel it out. You see what the deal is. You kind of take the temperature, and you kind of go from there. But I just don't think that they should look ahead. Is my point. I guess. Like, don't think with the mind towards game 6.
I think
that's kind of what's being pushed out there.
They're not looking for game 6, but they see game 6 very quickly when game 5.
Don't play LeBron 47 minutes trying to come back in game 5.
Exactly.
Don't play LeBron 47 minutes trying to come back in game 5. To your earlier point, as far as the lineup, I think that's just what they got, man. I mean, I don't think you're going to start Poole in that situation. I thought maybe the hope was probably, hey, you start Gary Payton the second, you let Poole kind of come in and do his 6-man type thing and see if he's got it. But the problem was that doesn't matter if Poole has it, right? Because then you can kind of mess around with that rotation. But if Poole doesn't have it, you're kind of stuck with that. And Gary Payton's he's not going to give you the all. Hey, look, he was 7 for 9 last night. I mean, he did.
Dude, he played his ass off.
Yeah, he did his thing with the opportunity that he was given. I think the bigger issue is that Klay, and I said it, was it last week pod or the week before? Like, Klay, since he's come back, has not been the same level of shooter. I think he's getting a lot of flack for the shots he took late, but same thing with the Steph shots late. Like, look, we love Golden State for taking those shots because over the years we've seen them hit those shots that no one else takes. So I think when you are considered 2 of the greatest shooters to ever play this game, if not the 2 greatest shooters to ever play this game, certainly the 2 best shooters ever to be on one team at the same time, you live and die with those shots. I think Steve Kerr said it after the game. So I'm not going to get on Klay about that. What I'm going to get on Klay about is going 3 for 11, right? We got to hit those shots. Forget what you're taking. You got to make those shots. That's what it comes down to, man. And, like, it's a make or miss league, right? Talk about it all the time. And they weren't making them. And then you bring in a guy like Lonnie Walker. Look, Darvin Ham, to me, has been running coaching circles around Steve Nash in this series, right? You can go back to, game 1? You can go back to a lot of different instances that he seems to know when to put the right guy in. Lonnie Walker was dusted. He was a corpse. He hadn't played. This is the guy who had not played. And somehow he knows, I'm going to dust this guy off.
You know what's interesting?
And then start calling plays for him down the stretch. Like, that to me.
Yeah, 100%. And I will say this. I think it helps Darvin Ham that he has an extension of a coach on the floor in LeBron James. LeBron James was actually force-feeding Lonnie Walker the rock at one point.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Possession after possession was literally like, gee.
He was setting screens for him.
He was there, get this shit up. Like,
Lonnie Walker was calling Bron to set screens.
Yeah, right? Like, yeah. So that definitely helps. But yeah, man.
And real quick on Lonnie Walker. I don't know if you saw the interview with him after the game. I'm not surprised. This guy operates off confidence. Like, some guys have like fake confidence. Like Lonnie Walker after the game, they asked him about it. He goes, I'm a scorer. The candle stays lit. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. That's what you want to hear.
The candle stays lit. I was like, okay. He's like, I'm born ready. Like, and it wasn't that fake confidence shit. I didn't mean to cut you off, but like, I just want to point that out. Like, that dude was ready, man. Like, you see that in practice. So shout out Darvin Ham.
You know what's funny? Lakers go to Lonnie Walker off the bench because they need more shooting. They need more scoring. He shows up. Phoenix goes to Landry Shamet. They need more shooting. He shows up. New York Knicks, Tom Thibodeau, have Aaron Fournier sitting on the bench.
That's how long it's been you called him Aaron Fournier.
Yeah. Evan Fournier is sitting on the bench. Just kind of another guy that could keep the torch lit. Listen, Nick, last year, Evan Fournier he owns the Knicks record for 3-pointers made in a season. He did that last year. He owns the record for 3-point jumpers made in a New York Knickerbocker uniform, and he cannot sniff the floor a year ago.
Well, Tibbs uses Gorilla Glue on the bench, man. When he's done with
Gorilla. Hey,
that guy, he's been out the rotation all year. No chance. I saw you tweet that yesterday, but no chance.
Yeah, it's just not happening, man.
No chance. I don't. He's at the depths of the bench. They'll pay him $17 million a year not to play.
Yeah. So I mean, hey, man, I guess live by the trigger, die by the trigger. You go with your guys that got you here, but sometimes you got to go to the bench and go get somebody. Like, I never thought Malik Beasley would be DMPs.
He's DMPs
for the Lakers
crazy, yeah.
all
that doesn't surprise me though. Malik Beasley's that type of guy. I think he's another guy, but you do want to dust him off and see if he's got something every once in a while. But look, you can't argue with the way the Lakers are playing.
No. But what I'm saying is,
but he's
adjustments need to be made
for sure.
Beasley was a guy that was brought over to be a piece. It wasn't working. He's on the bench.
Yeah.
The stuff like the scoring that is available for the Knicks against the Miami Heat is not working. Go get a guy that can shoot it. He's sitting 6 feet
there.
from you. So
Sure.
I don't know. It wouldn't hurt.
Fournier has throughout his career been awful in the playoffs, though.
Yeah, but he could
He's
still.
they don't have playoff player.
Listen,
but I get you. Yeah,
you don't have
nothing
enough
else is working
to leave a shooter buried like that.
Yeah, sure.
You just like that's just what it is, right? So that's an interesting thing. Darvin Ham went and got a guy that had a big fourth for him. Shamet had a massive fourth. They don't. Both the Lakers and the Suns don't win the game without Shamet and Lonnie Walker the fourth. No doubt about it. So,
are you worried about? I don't know if we're gonna get to Nuggets Phoenix, but I mean,
yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So that's all I got on the Lakers. I think they're gonna lose game 5 by double digits, and they're gonna go back to LA and take care of business, get out in 6. That's how I see it happening. I don't see Golden State going back home down 3-1 and losing. The trends have laid that out. I want to say straight up, it's like 7. I can't remember the number. I just had it, but it's like 70, 75% team down 3-1 going back home gets the W. Yeah. And I believe the Golden State Warriors are going to be one of those games.
When you're a good of a home team as the Warriors are.
Yeah. They should be able to get the W there at home. I think they will. And then the rest we got to figure out.
All right, real quick. NBA all defensive team just dropped.
Yeah.
You watched a lot of hoops this year. Let's see who would be your first team all D? 2 guards, 2 forwards, and a center.
2 guards, 2 forwards, and a center. So of course, Jaren Jackson Jr.
Of course, yep. Led the way. 96 first team votes, most in the league.
I'm so bad at shit like this because I always blank and I forget people, but I'll go Joel Embiid.
Joel Embiid did not make first or second team all defense.
Wow. Okay, so AD and Giannis.
Neither of them made first or second team all defense.
What?
Giannis didn't make the all defensive team.
Okay. So okay. So Lopez.
Yeah, of course. Yep.
Lopez, JJJ. We don't have
who?
So wait. So the Lopez is the center.
Yep.
JJJ is one of the forwards. One of the other forwards. Who's the other forward that they would give DPOI?
They're all East. Other than Jaren Jackson Jr., this whole team is Eastern Conference for the first team. Eastern Conference forward, versatile big, guards, a lot of different positions. It was third year, I want to say. Third or second year in the league.
Second year in the league?
This is third. Is it his second or his third? I don't know. Third.
First team all day.
No, it's the second year. It's the second year.
Second year in the league. What team? Well, just give me the team.
Cleveland.
Oh, okay. So Mobley. Jared. Yeah, Mobley.
The two guards. All right, guy who got the second most votes of anybody. This is a lifetime achievement award. I mean, he's a fucking dog of a defender. It's a lifetime achievement award for sure.
So what? You're saying it's Marcus?
The biggest reputation. No, fuck no. He didn't make any of them. Biggest reputational defender in the league.
From DPOY to no defensive.
No defensive. Terrible on D this year. He can't move. Drew Holiday.
I'll never respect
Drew Holiday.
I'll never respect Drew Holiday. Ask
Jimmy. That is true. Hey, real talk. He should be disqualified.
Dog, I would have took him straight off that, bro. I would have took him straight off that list, bro.
All right, the second guard you're gonna love.
No, Lou.
No, Lou.
Yeah, Lou Dort.
Oh, Lou Dort.
Shout out Lou Dort. Okay, wait. Give me the squad. The last one is.
It's too easy. It's the Bulls. Our boy.
Oh, Caruso.
Caruso's first team all D. Yep.
Wow. That's deserved, man. That motherfucker locks up.
Absolutely. And then the second team, we're going to go Derek White, Draymond Green, OG Anunoby, Dylan Brooks, and Bam Adebayo. No Giannis, no Joel.
Derek White, huh?
Derek White made all D, yeah.
Second team all D, Derek White.
You don't really think? I mean, he's a good defender. I don't think of him as a defender.
I don't think of him as.
I think of him as a fucking scorer.
Yeah, Well, listen, if he's second team all D and what he can do on the offensive end, he should be playing 35 minutes. I don't know what Missoula is doing then.
Missoula sucks.
I don't know what's up with that. But so wait, so Caruso,
Mobley,
Drew
Lopez.
Holiday, Mobley, Lopez, and
so I'll give it to you in order of first team votes, right?
Yeah.
So first 5 of the first team: Jaren Jackson, Drew Holiday, Brook Lopez, Evan Mobley, Alex Caruso. So that's first team and the top 5 first team vote getters.
Yeah.
Second team is Derek White, Draymond Green, OG Anunoby, Dylan Brooks, and Bam Adebayo.
Yeah. Okay. Who's 13?
I don't think there is a 13 OD, is there? No Jimmy Butler either? This is bullshit.
They need the playoff all D.
Playoff. Yo, you should make all playoff teams for real.
All playoff teams for real. That shit is real. All right, let's go out to
absent.
Yeah, let's go out to Phoenix. And you want to talk Nuggets Suns first, or you want to talk?
I mean, it's just my thing on Nuggets Suns is one of the most. We got
10 minutes for both.
Yeah, Nuggets Suns is one of the most alarming series to me because it's just like you would think. First off, Phoenix has no depth. Somehow they pull out the win in Game 4. You would think that if Jokic goes absolutely berserk for 53 points and puts together one of the best playoff performances I'd ever seen, that it would lead to a win for Denver, but they don't. It was close, but it wasn't like, I mean, it's just a weird series, man. Like, it's a weird series. And the thing that I worried about from Denver seems to be coming true in that they just need other guys, and you don't know who you're going to get and win from Denver. And it's just a lot of Jokic. And again, if he's going to go for 53 and you can't pull out the win, it really concerns me. And I don't know what to think about this series. I really want to say that Denver's going to get it because, again, I don't trust the depth of the Phoenix Suns. But again, I mean, Murray had a good game the other day, but where's Michael Porter Jr., right? Where's Aaron Gordon?
Michael Porter Jr., he's gone to the basket a little bit, but he needs everything done for him on the offensive end, from my estimation. But yeah, I mean, but like, he should be so much more than that, I guess. You know me, Nick. Those are the players I get frustrated with the most. Fucking 6'11",
all the gifts in the world,
all everything, and the only thing he could do is catch and shoot, jump and
shoot. Yeah.
So yeah, I hear you. I mean, I think this is more of the story of what Devin Booker has been able to do, and Shamet obviously pulled it out in Game 4 for them. This guy, Devin Booker, efficiency has been off the charts. He's been shooting the ball at a ridiculous clip. There was once upon a time where Big Nick the Quick used to hate on Devin Booker. I tried to warn him, but he didn't want to listen at that time.
How long are we going to talk about this for?
He's awake now, though. My people.
Yeah, I've been awake. I've been awake for 3 years.
He's seen the light.
Listen, let me clarify my Booker stance. I thought Booker was getting a lot of love on teams that were 28 and 54. Right? I thought Booker was getting a lot of love for a 70-point game in which the team purposely lost the game so that he could score 70. I will never respect that. Right? And I felt like he was getting talked as one of those guys. And to me, you're not one of those guys, right? Unless you can show me that you can win some ball games. And I love Booker, but Booker needed to get some help, as a lot of people do. And now he's a winning player, and it's great, man. I'm 100% team Booker. He's one of the top 2 or 3 shooting guards in the league, if not maybe the best right now, right? Like I think we really need to, at the end of the offseason, really start looking at these top 10, who's the best, who's the that. Because I feel like most of us are just keeping it in our heads right now, and it's just like, oh, this guy's the best, this guy's the best, this guy's the best. Yeah. And like, we really need to have an honest discussion about, is Booker better than Tatum? Is this guy better than that guy? You know what I mean? But like, yeah, hey, listen, man, Devin Booker gets all the flowers from me. This Phoenix Suns team has absolutely zero depth, and he's carrying them along with Kevin Durant and the occasional other guy who happened to be Landry Shamet the other night. But yeah, so there's no slander from Booker on my part.
I think overall, though, my gut still tells me that Phoenix doesn't have enough. They literally have to get 70 points plus from Durant and Booker on a crazy efficient clip, and Durant get to the line 10 plus times as part of that 35 to win the game and win the series. They easily could have lost that game the other night in Phoenix if it wasn't for some big shots coming down the stretch. Jokic is absolutely destroying DeAndre Ayton. Every time he sees him, it's a basket. I tweeted out in game 2, Jokic against Ayton was 10 of 13 when matched up. Landale's giving him more trouble. The Nuggets had 72 points in the paint, man, in game 3. That is in game 4, excuse me. That is ridiculous. So Ayton's going to have to step up, or if not, put Landale in the game and tell him your only job is to bother the fuck out of Jokic.
Even if you get all 6 of your fouls, use them.
That's it. Because he did give him a touch of trouble. You're not going to slow up Jokic too much.
No,
he gave him a lot more resistance than Ayton.
Yeah,
Ayton has been getting destroyed.
Well, if Ayton's not going to score, if Ayton's only going to give you 8 points, it's kind of like 8 points and 8 rebounds. It's kind of like, what are you doing out there?
Yeah, no, 100%. So,
so if you're giving us 20 and you're getting cooked, it's one thing. But if you're giving us 8 and you're getting cooked, it's 100% different. So yeah, for sure.
So yeah, Landale was giving him more trouble. I just think it's overall in Denver. I like the Nuggets to bounce back here going home. I like them to win the series. I gave out Suns to win game 3, Nuggets to win series plus 125. I don't know what the series price is right now. We could get that here in a sec, but I still like the Nuggets to take care of business and win the series. What do you think?
Yeah, I do too. Overall, just again worries me when you see 81 from Jokic and Murray and you still lose the ball game.
Yeah, I mean that is worrisome because Jamal Murray played extremely well, but they were on the road. They got a phantom flurry from Shamet they weren't expecting. Yeah. They're gonna need someone. They're gonna need some help from Gordon, from Porter Jr. But that's what happens at home. I think I'll put it like this: whoever wins.
I thought the officiating was also horrendous in that game.
Yeah, you win game 5, you win the series. Let me try to get this. Futures price in here.
I'll put it this way: I feel a lot more hopeful about the Suns than I did going into the series. Like I do see a path to victory for the Suns, but like you said, things have to go perfectly for them, and it's going to be Booker and Durant carrying them to epic performances. You know what I mean? With no point guard.
Yeah, exactly right. Let's talk about the Jokic Ishbia push situation. Let me tell you what happened. I believe Ishbia got the rock somehow. I didn't even see how he got the ball. It's like a loose ball going out of bounds.
Yeah, he just grabbed it.
And Ishbia, who's a former college hooper, went into hooper mode.
For sure.
Held on to the rock, didn't want to give it to an opponent. And then when he caught a little bump, he flopped.
He's an Izzo boy. Like the ball is very important. You know, Izzo, the rebounder drill. Like Izzo's like, it's his ball.
He flopped like he was in the game. Yeah. And he just teleported to a live game scenario. Yeah, put his hands up and everything like he was on the floor. But I thought the fact that people were even contemplating that Jokic would get suspended was crazy.
Yeah, not a chance.
But I guess that's the NBA that we're in. You never know. It could have happened, I guess.
Not a chance. And it was a little forearm joint. I think if he maybe muffed him or
he didn't throw anything at him. Yeah, he just gave him a little arm bar like, hey, man.
Sure.
Fall back a little bit.
Fall back. Yeah, you're closer in my airspace. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Right.
I thought it was funny more than anything. I thought it was much ado about nothing. $25,000, whatever. You know, I'm sure Ishbia is going to get fined an undisclosed amount.
Oh, is that what Jokic got 25 bands for that?
25 bands for that, yeah.
See, that's too much, dog.
Ishbia should pay that.
That's petty.
Got it. Yeah, so what are you going to
25 large for that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough.
Well, it's Ishbia. These guys are wild boys. You know what his brother's trying to do, right? So they got a crib out here. I think they bought a crib in Winnetka, and essentially they bought like all the houses around it, and part of it includes like public beaches, and they're trying to turn all the beach like private into their own little thing where like they're trying to basically turn all this public beach area private for their own like massive like $20 million compound that they're building, and they're getting a lot of pushback from it. And it's just like one of those, like it's just kind of going back and forth in the media over here about him trying to build this, and like these rich dudes, they get what they want eventually. But yeah, they're just wild guys. Like his wife was on there, like we can't move into our house, so my kids can't meet any of their friends. Start playing with people.
God,
she goes, my kids can't move in and meet any neighbors. Mind you, this is like a 17-acre estate. It's like you never fucking see your neighbor.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about
right. Yeah, shout out to Ishbia's,
Yeah,
First
that
world
sounds
problems
about
going
right.
on over there. Yeah.
So,
But no, much ado about nothing. Again, I'm more intrigued by this series than I was before. This series, like as crazy as it sounds, this is one of those ones where it's like, man, I got something to do tonight. I'm not entirely mad if I miss this game. If it was close, if it's close,
Yo, let me hold on.
If it's close, I'm gonna go back and watch it.
That only happens with the Nuggets. Why is that?
I don't like. I've never enjoyed watching them
because that's a better series than Celtics Sixers. But like, motherfuckers aren't feeling that. Like, motherfuckers are catching Celtics Sixers, right?
Yeah.
Why is that? You think?
I don't know. It's hard to describe. Like even I think after game one, I was just like, I don't give a fuck about this series. It was kind of like Hawks Celtics. If I didn't have to watch any Hawks Celtics, I didn't care. If I didn't have to watch any next Sixers, which I didn't really, like I watched, but so we could talk about it. But I wasn't oh, I need to get home and watch that Mikal Bridges. See what he does.
Right.
And that's kind of where I was. I just felt like once Paul was out too, I'm just like, man, they got nothing. This is gonna be, I don't know. I was just kind of out on it. And it's crazy because it involves Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, who are two guys I love watching.
It's 2-2.
And I do enjoy watching Jokic. But I'll even say during the regular season, I think you're right. Subconsciously, something with Denver.
So it's
you don't think about them as like a box office team that you really want to watch. They're almost an afterthought. And this is a team that won 53 ball games this year.
Facts. So, I think that is true about Denver.
I would actually not watch. Like they're at primetime games. I would miss.
If you had to pick one game, you'd watch Boston Philly.
Tonight?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like if you had to pick one, you'd watch Boston Philly, no question.
Yeah, for sure. Still to this point. Yeah, but not as much so as it would have been before. But yeah.
Speaking of Boston Philly, let's talk Boston Philly with these last 10 minutes. The Boston Celtics
still have the same problem that they had last year.
Still have the same issue that they've had for
game. They're the scariest team in the NBA.
Quite a while now. It is 2-2. Going back to Boston, Harden has another awesome game where he takes care of business, scores, dishes, does whatever needs to be done. Hits massive shots.
His boo was in the crowd.
His
boo was in the crowd wearing his jersey.
Hits massive shots, does his thing. They get the W. How do you feel about Game 5 going back to Boston and in this series? What do you think?
Dude, Boston to me, and look, man, you talked about it ad nauseum last year, the lack of point guard and just really the decision making down the stretch. I guess in the last 3 minutes of games, Marcus Smart leads them in usage, is what it seems like to me, because all of a sudden he's the guy that always seems to be, whatever the decision is that the Boston Celtics are going to make, it needs to go through Marcus Smart.
It goes through Marcus Smart.
It has to go through Marcus Smart, as if Marcus Smart is Isaiah Thomas or something. And don't get me wrong, I like Marcus Smart. He can make a lot of plays. He can be a winning player. But the fact that you have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown on the floor at the same time, and it seems that Smart is the guy who is kind of the one driving the ship, it really concerns me. The fact that Joe Mazzulla likes to carry timeouts as if you get to bring them into the next game or into the post-game press conference. You can call a timeout on a question you don't like. Seems to bother me. The fact that you could say in that first situation, in that last game, maybe you let them kind of decide what they're going to do. But the second time, you absolutely don't. It bothers me that team played the last 17 seconds of that game as if there was 10 minutes on the clock. It took them 9 seconds or 8 seconds to get into anything. And what you get into is that. So, that bothers me, man. Especially when you're talking about it, you're not that much better than Philly. So, to me, Boston has the same problems they've always had, is that they need to be blowing you out going into the fourth quarter. They have to be blowing you out, not blowing you out in the first half, because we've seen that be an issue for them too, right? But they need to be blowing you out going
8 to 10 points going into the fourth.
They'd have to be, because if it gets tight, and you rely on them to make a decision for whatever reason, Tatum doesn't demand the ball.
Yeah.
Brown is okay in his number 2, but what seems like number 3 role, right? And it just becomes the Marcus Smart show where, in that game he hit some big threes. He also made some awful decisions.
Well, in that game as well. So in that game as well, I think they had it was like a 14-2 run to close the game, and then Harden hit that 3 in the corner to seal it up.
Which was crazy that you would leave James Harden open down there when you could just concede the 2.
But I'm going to tell you this. Combined with the Marcus Smart comments on the article about the Celtics offense in Missoula, that the Boston Celtics essentially have 2 plays on offense, and then we just run a bunch of action off of those two plays. extremely worrisome for me. The reason Joe Mazzulla ends the game with timeouts is because if he calls timeout and has to draw something up, he don't got nothing. He don't got nothing for him.
Yeah,
that's what I think. Because there's no reason that you're ending these games with two
timeouts.
Two timeouts
in close games.
Close games. And I've seen this over and over and over again. Them come down the stretch on offensive possessions, and let's just figure it out. Let's get the ball to Tatum and get it up. Let's there's no type of direction whatsoever at the end of games, and especially in the half court, forget about it. So that is really worrisome. Now, they did get, look at how many weapons these dudes. This is all we talk about with these guys. Tatum had 24. Smart had 21. Jaylen Brown had 23. Brogdon had 19. They had 6 guys in double figures. 3 of the 6 had 20 plus and 1 had 19.
Yep.
They shot 47% from the floor.
17
it's just,
threes.
They legit, they shot 44 threes. That's what they do. They shot 42 a game in the regular season. It's just that late game execution. I don't trust them in any way, shape, or form. And then on the flip, you get massive numbers from James Harden. He goes for 42, 9, 8 boards.
Well, wait. We didn't even. You get a all-time game from fucking Al Horford. Al Horford is. We talk about this for years, but Al Horford is Joel Embiid's personal boogeyman.
That's actually a good point to bring up.
When he wakes up in the middle of the night, he sees Al Horford. Like, he was in his ass that game.
He had him shook a little bit.
You can't ask for more from Al Horford on the defensive end. So you got, not only did you get the scoring from the guys you mentioned, you also got a guy who, again, has always given the MVP of the league problems. Yeah, Joel had 34, but against anybody else, that's a 45-point game for Joel.
Coming down the stretch, it was
multiple
spooky.
times he was
PJ Tucker had to get in his ass.
And said, "Do you know who you are?"
Man,
yeah.
What we doing?
Yeah. So for sure, that's why. But again, none of it matters with the Boston Celtics until the last 5 minutes of the game. None of it matters. This team on paper is excellent. This team should be walking into the Eastern Conference Finals. They should be walking to the NBA Finals. They made it last year. The playoffs this year should be a formality for them.
Celtics again, minus 195 to win the East right now.
They fucked around with Atlanta, right? You fucked around with Atlanta for no real reason. You should have went to 6 games with those guys at all. You should have swept them up, right? And now with Philly, it's like you let them hang around, then you do some dumb shit at the end of the game on defense and on offense. For whatever reason, Jaylen Brown, who's an excellent defensive player and has been doing a great job on Harden in this series when he, in certain games, leaves James Harden. When you could have easily just allowed Joel Embiid to score, the game would have been tied. You could take your chances in another overtime. But instead, you leave him alone. And look, I get James. It's James fucking Harden. This is a Hall of Fame player. At what point does it make sense to go and do that? Let Joel score. Let Tatum foul him. Let whatever happen. But you don't leave James Harden wide open for the easiest shot in basketball. Right? And then on the other end, what was that? What was that? And you're holding on to these timeouts. Then you talk to us at the end of the game, and you don't make any sense. Yeah, I probably should have called him. No fucking shit. But this keeps happening, and it's the same problem that this team had last year. It's the same problem that this team had last year. Same exact problems, man. If they're playing like they played the first 20, 25 games of the year this year, forget about it. Of course, the point differential is crazy. They're blowing everybody out by 20 when it's all good. Yeah, it's great. But if it gets tight and it comes down to execution and making the right move late, they fold up, man. They fold up.
Game 5 in Boston, Celtics are minus 7.5. What are you doing with it? Total 213. Would you lay 7.5? Are they going to win by double digits essentially? Minus 300 on the money.
Here's the question. The question is really, do you think they'll win? If you think they'll win, then lay the 7.5. Because if they're going to win by 10 or 12. Right?
I think they win.
The 7.5. They win. I would 10 or 12 is kind of ridiculous, but I can see them winning by 8 or
10
9,
12
right?
is right. 10 12 is about right though.
But if you're not confident in their ability to win, then I wouldn't even go anywhere near that because like it's kind of what it is. Like,
do you feel like they found something with or maybe not found something because it's not new, but reignited that like, hey man, we could just put Al on this fucking guy Embiid and just give him hell.
Yes, they should all the time. You got dude. The Philadelphia 76ers gave Al Horford $120 million so that they didn't have to play him anymore. Do you understand that? They had a center. They didn't need a center. They gave him $120 million because they never wanted to see Al Horford again and brought him over to their team. Like, if that tells you everything you need to know. And now he's back and he's causing the same problems. They literally signed this man because Joel was like, I don't want to see that guy. I can see 31 other centers. I never want to see that guy.
Yeah,
and things that
this
he
dude
does.
is a pain in the ass.
This dude is a pain in the ass for me. So yeah, I hope that if I'm Mazzulla, that's the plan for sure. But again, that doesn't fix the last 3 minutes of the game. Al Horford, Garden, and Embiid was not your problem in this basketball game.
That's going to do it for No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. I am your host, Sean Little, for Big Nick the Quick. We got some more NBA playoff talk coming. We'll be back on Friday to break it all down. No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. We out here.